Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, since we got Ruby's body sealed inside and out, nice and tight, I went ahead and put the cover on her, and we can kind of set her aside for a little while because frankly I was getting a little tired of working on the body. So now we can turn our attention over to the fenders. So the fenders we've already done a lot of work to on the exterior. Now we're going to do a little work on the interior. This will be the part that you'll see when the hood's up. So let's jump in here real quick. We'll take a look at what the project is for today and get after it. All right, the plan for today is to clean up some of these seams in here. So you can see right here we've got a piece that's spot welded on, and here's the top part of the fender. So we're going to go ahead and get that welded in. We're going to clean up along here a little bit, and right here, see this seam right here where this just overlaps and it's just kind of like an open seam. It's kind of uneven. We're going to tap that over and TIG weld that all the way. And then these little reinforcing little triangles they stamped in here, there's 4 of them. We're going to go ahead and get those filled in. We'll cut some plates and get those welded in, and then a few other small things we need to do so it looks really nice when the hood's up. So let me get this thing flipped over and let's get to work. All right, the first thing I think I want to do is go ahead and get this edge right here tapped over. Just roll that over a little bit to tighten up that seam so we can TIG weld that up real nice. It's looking real good along here. I don't think we need to trim it, maybe a little bit right here. But when we get down to here, you guys can see it kind of sticks up. So we'll probably just take the reciprocating saw and just lay it on here and trim that out and kind of curve that off over there. Everywhere else it feels pretty good. So we can go ahead and just get the hammer and tap that over. So let me get that cut off, and then we can get to welding. All right, let's get this rolled over. I just got my big dolly. I'm just going to put it up here to back this up so I'm not pushing the fender all over the place. And we're just going to kind of try to ease that over. It kind of rolls out a little bit. They spot welded it all along here, so it kind of, when they did that, it kind of flared it up. Okay, that tightened up pretty nice right through there. Hopefully it welds real nice. I've been getting a lot of impurity when I'm welding, you know, just overlaps like this because it was dipped in the phosphoric acid. I can't get in there and clean it all out, so it kind of boils out when I'm welding, but I think we'll be okay. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of it, and then we'll get the TIG welder out. Okay, we're gonna weld all along here. I'm gonna skip these areas where we're gonna put that pieces of sheet metal in, and we'll kind of do those all at once. I don't know how long my runs are going to be. I don't want to overheat the panel. It's pretty far away, and it's got a lot of angles here, but I don't want to take a chance. So let's see what happens here. Not too bad, a little rough start there. Something boiled out, but it's looking good. All right, I'm just gonna jump over here, jump over there, and just kind of bust this out. Alright guys, I got a little carried away. I started using the burr tool and the sander on it before I realized I didn't show you guys what it looked like when I was done. Pretty pitted. That stuff was boiling out of there. The problem is you can't clean both sides of the sheet metal since it's already put together. But this is just some burr tool work here, just knocking the top off. That's the last one I did. It came out okay, but you can see the impurities just kind of popping out of there. This will all get, this whole area will probably get floated, so it's no big deal. We'll get some body filler on there once we get epoxy on it. But we got all that done. Let's go ahead and get to work on this triangle right here. We'll get one little paper template made up, and we'll cut one out of a piece of steel and see if we can lay it in there nice and flat. All right, to make a template, all I did was just take my angle finder here, and I just kind of eyeballed it so it matched the angle on here, and I drew that on a piece of paper, and then I just kept messing with it, kind of trimming it with the scissors until I could tell that it was laying in there properly. So I'm going to go cut one out a piece of some 18 gauge, and then we're just going to start fiddling with this a little bit to get it to lay in there flat, and then we're going to weld it all the way around here. Then when we get the other one done, we'll go ahead and finish welding this area right here. So let me get one made out of steel real quick, and I'll bring you right back. All right, got one made up. It needs a little fine tuning, I think, to get it so it's in there just right. The problem is these triangles aren't exactly 90 degrees to this piece here, so they got a little kick in them. So I had to keep adjusting. Then I'm just taking my little straight edge here and make sure it lays down in there flat enough. So when I weld it, it'll, at best we want it sitting below the pieces on each side, so when we float it, the body filler will take up the difference. And we want a little slight gap up here. So I think we're looking pretty close. I think we're a little high right in here, so I need to kind of sand some of that away. But let me get all that ready, and we'll get it clamped, and we'll get this one tacked in. All right, I got that fitted in there pretty good. I just took a straight edge to make sure that it was sitting at least below the surface. So once it's welded and everything, we can get a little filler in there to make this nice and smooth throughout here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get it tacked, and then we'll get it welded. Still looks good. All right, I'm gonna let that cool a little bit. We'll do the other side, get this one in, and then we'll get this stretch right through here. All right, we got that all welded up, just needs to be ground. I think I'll get this one in all the way, and then we'll grind them both, and then we'll get that welded. All right, we got that one done, and the next one done, and I got this welded all along here, so it's looking pretty good. We just have to finish those up, and then we can move over to the nose and get some of that taken care of. So I'm gonna bust this out off camera real quick, and then I'll meet you back up there. All right, we got all those done. This one's a little low right here, I can feel it, but we're gonna float this whole thing in, make it all nice and beautiful. So we got a hole right here. That was for a ground. I think we're gonna weld that in. But mostly I wanna get this right here, right where that connects, and grind that smooth. And then I think we're gonna get this next right here. So let's get this all cleaned up real good. Hopefully these welds go a little bit better. All right, it looks like they missed some spot welds. There's one right here, right on the edge, and there's really, I don't think, anything over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of tack it. We're gonna end up filling this just to smooth this out over here. I was considering cutting a plate and laying it in here and try to weld inside this corner, but I think that's beyond my skill level. But I definitely want to make sure this piece and this piece is attached properly, and it looks like there's only two tacks holding it together, so spot weld. So let's go ahead and get it tacked up. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's get this one over here, and then we'll work on that. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, that one came out pretty good, and that was probably the most important one. It's a little low there. We're going to fill it, so it's no big deal. Still need to do some grinding and sanding, but we got this all tacked together. Got that welded there, got that welded up over there. So let me get this all ground up real quick, and I think we're going to trim some sheet metal. I don't like the way this looks, and I think we need to trim back there a little bit, and we will be just about done. All right, that's sanded up really nice. A little low, we're gonna have to fill it right there. I made sure I got in there with a burr tool and cleaned this up really nice so when the headlight bezel goes on, it fits perfectly. The rest of this all looks pretty good. Got it all sanded up. The last thing I think we need to do is, you see how this piece of sheet metal kind of dives in here and then kind of just abruptly pops back out. What I wanna do is scribe a line from right here and just have it taper off to nothing back there and clean that up, because that it does get a little fatter as it goes. And I think it's not very attractive. So let's get some Sharpie on there and get a scribe and get it cut. All right, all done. Let's take a close-up look. It's looking really nice. Super happy the way it came out. I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to do this, but I'm glad I did. I think it looks beautiful. I don't know, you guys tell me what you think, but I think it's a vast improvement over what it was. And once we get some body filler, fill those little low spots there, and get that whole thing nice and smooth, I think it's gonna look fantastic with the hood up. I think it just came out really, really nice. Super happy. All right guys, that pretty much wraps up this video on beautifying the inside of the fenders, and I think it was well worth the effort. I think it's going to look fantastic with the hood up, and I'm glad I pulled the trigger and decided to go ahead and do it. I think it's going to look super sweet with the hood up, and everything's nice and smooth and clean and no overlapping sheet metal and all that ugliness. So I'm really happy I went ahead and did it. So these fenders are just about ready for epoxy. I just now thought of something. Everywhere we welded in those little V's, now that could hold water. So I need to flip the fender over and drill a weep hole at the bottom of each one of those. But other than that, I think they're ready for prep for epoxy. So we're gonna go ahead and set them aside. And I think we're gonna move back over to Ruby, the body. I wanna get started on some seam sealer before all those grooves and nooks and crannies get full of garbage. So that'll be the next video. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.